Shalom, everyone, and good evening from Galilee, from Israel. I'm Amir Tsarfati from the basement of my house, 4 seconds walk from the bomb shelter. I'm not at Connect. Probably will be there tomorrow if everything is okay. But just so you know, things have calmed down a little bit, but we don't know if it will stay like that simply because there are some conflicting statements coming from both Iran, Washington, and Jerusalem. And that is exactly why I decided to give you a short and important update regarding the events of the last 24 hours and to give you background, try to explain, and to ask the billion-dollar question: what in the world has happened to President Trump? So let's pray. Father, we thank you. We thank you that you kept us safe as always. You're the keeper of Israel. And that's your name. That's who you are. That's what you do. And we ask that now you will also allow us to understand the times and the seasons and understand also the events and gain better also perspective and also know how to pray. We thank you again in Yeshua's name. Amen. Amen. So guys, shalom, it's Amir Tsarfati. We probably will have Middies and Beyond on Wednesday. We didn't have we are not having roundtable today because I'm not at Connect. We'll reschedule that one. But you're probably asking yourself, what in the world is going on here? And I just thought it'll be important to give you an update. The reason why I waited is because, to be honest, um, every 10 minutes things change, and what I can say now can be different 10 minutes later, and I wanted everything to kind of calm down a little bit so we can take a couple steps back and look at the full picture. So again, let me remind you that over the past I guess 24 hours there has been exchange of fire between Israel and Iran, and it has nothing to do with Iran. That's the funny thing. Nothing to do with Iran. Israel did not attack Iran first, yet Israel had experienced 4 waves of ballistic missiles last night and a few more today, all because we actually operated in Lebanon. So you're asking yourself, why would Iran go to war with Israel over something that Israel is doing in Lebanon? I guess a lot of people are asking that, and that is exactly why I decided to explain that to you. So, first of all, let me try and explain something that a lot of people don't know. And that is that over the past more than 25 years, 30 years, Hezbollah has been the arm of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which is the IRGC in Iran, in Lebanon. You see, the IRGC is the basically military wing of the Ayatollah regime in Iran. When Khomeini rose to power and arrived from Paris to Tehran on February 1st, 1979, he basically did not trust the army of Iran, the police of Iran. So he basically created a parallel force that will be loyal to him. And that's the IRGC, and that's the Basij forces and others. And so in Iran, there's 2 militaries. There's the country's military, and there is the IRGC, and there is the country's police, and there is the Basij. And so one is totally blindly following the regime, and the other one is, doing the hard work that needs to be done. One is spoiled by the regime, and the other one not so much. Anyway, one of the things that the Iranians started doing in the early 80s already is expanding their and exporting their revolution, the Islamic revolution, and creating arms by exploiting anyway existing conflicts. So there is existing conflict in Yemen. We'll go in and establish our own militias there. There's a conflict in Iraq. We do that. A conflict in Syria. Well, in Lebanon there was a civil war, of course, and Lebanon was divided, and the Shiite community, the Shiite community was small and not as powerful, and what happened is that Hezbollah was basically created by the Iranians, trained, funded, and sponsored by Iran. And from a small, little, insignificant thing, it grew to be one of the most biggest and lethal terror organization on planet Earth. So big and so lethal that it controls the Lebanese government, the Lebanese parliament, Lebanese military, Lebanese police. And in a way, although the Shia in Lebanon are only 30%, they have the power of 70% when it comes to military and even more. And so if in the 1970s, the problem that Israel experienced from Lebanon was the PLO, the Palestinians, Arafat, and all of that, in the 80s, it was replaced by the Iranians and their influence by Hezbollah. And Hezbollah started growing bigger and bigger and bigger to the point that it became bigger than a country when it comes to capabilities. And I know that because almost every day we find more and more underground facilities and storage places and weapons and all of that that are literally showing the insane size and capabilities of that terror organization. It was all funded and supplied by Iran, of course. Now, watch this. One of the major reasons Israel went to war together with America against Iran was the proxies that Iran is using, the Houthis in Yemen, the Iraqi militias, and of course Hezbollah, and of course they supported Hamas and Islamic Jihad in Gaza and Judea and Samaria. So we're almost done with Hamas. Hamas is pretty much almost lowered to dust. We in Syria, the change of regime caused the Iranians to flee. And now we're left with the Houthis and the Hezbollah, or if I may say, Hezbollah and the Houthis. You all know that Hezbollah was pretty much shocked that Hamas started the war, and yet they joined the war on October 8, 2023. And only in the summer of 2024, Israel was free to move up to the north and take care of that terror organization. And ever since we were conducting some major operations there. Towards November of 2024, there was a ceasefire that agreed by the Biden administration. And then when President Trump took office, the ceasefire kind of remained intact until, and Hezbollah didn't shoot anything. And that was, of course, until the war, the Roaring Lion operation that started on February 28th. And a few days into that, after Ayatollah Khamenei was assassinated, was eliminated by Israel, Hezbollah decided it's time to get back and attack Israel. Israel began a military operation to clean southern Lebanon from Hezbollah so we do not have anymore any threat of invasion into Israel by the Radwan forces. And also, Israel attacked all the headquarters in Beirut. In Beirut, there's a whole district called the Dahye, which is the southern part of the city, including the airport and all that area, which is mostly Shiite area, housing 900,000 or 950,000 people. And that's their stronghold, the Dahye. In fact, Hezbollah has 3 strongholds in Lebanon. It's the southern Lebanon, where all the Shiite villages that were really cross-border right next to us. Then there was a Dahye in southern Beirut. And there was the eastern, the valley called the Baqa Valley, where Hezbollah was born, and that's where they store all of their heavy weapons, rockets, and drones in the Bekaa Valley. And everything was okay until negotiations began between Israel and Lebanon. The country of Lebanon, the government of Lebanon realized that their biggest problem is not Israel, because Israel has no territorial demands from Lebanon. In fact, we would love to live in peace with Lebanon. We would love to have embassies and tourism and collaboration. But the problem is that as long as you have a terror organization that controls your country and exploits all the southern part that is next to you, you can't do that. You have to clean it. You have to disarm them. You have to dismantle them. The Lebanese army is too weak. 30% of the Lebanese army soldiers are basically Shia Muslims, and they are compromised. They're sympathizers of Hezbollah, and they're collaborators with Hezbollah. So there's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of collaboration with Hezbollah. So the Lebanese military cannot do that. So who else can do it? IDF. Now, when Iran and Hezbollah realized that the IDF is advancing in southern Lebanon and moving more and more and taking more and more land, and by the way, this time, unlike any other time before, we raise every house that was basically a military outpost. Every place where Hezbollah was hiding, operating from, or storing weapon is now leveled to the ground. So I'm talking about almost 80 villages are gone. And we're moving towards towns and cities right now in the south, which are the strongholds of Hezbollah. And they lose a lot of assets. They lost it before. We talked about it in the last Middle East and beyond. The big Crusader fortress on that range overlooking the whole area, 4 kilometers away from the Israeli border, right beyond the Litani River. And the reason why I'm saying that is we just exposed there a monstrous underground facility, which I posted on Telegram a couple days ago. And in other words, every time we advance, we expose more and more and more. Guys, the weapons that we found and the underground facilities that we found would put to shame countries' military capabilities. It's unbelievable. Now, having said all of that, something happened yesterday. Now, pay attention to what I'm about to say. First of all, you have to understand, and allow me to use my glasses. We prepared quite a few things for you to see. First of all, from silence to leverage, why Iran ignored 3 strikes and only reacted now. In other words, we want to remind you, and I'll put this timeline for you so you understand. On April 7th, Israel and Iran arrived at the ceasefire agreement, and ever since, President Trump is daydreaming on a deal with Iran. It's been 60 days so far, and they drag him and drag him and drag him, and there is nothing. And you'll hear why in a few seconds. And throughout that time, Israel struck and eliminated on April 8th in Beirut Ali Yusuf Harshi. And then in April 21st, there's an extended truce. And on May 6th, we attacked the Radwan force commander Malek Balut. We eliminated him in Beirut. Then on May 28th, IDF struck Dadahieh, and Ali al-Hussein was eliminated. And he was actually part of the Iranian brigade. And as you can see, we struck Beirut already a few times, and the Iranians did nothing. But the thing is this: a few days ago, Israel and Lebanon announced officially on what appears to be a formal ceasefire that allows Israel to stay in southern Lebanon in order to clean the area, but also manages to basically say Lebanon and Israel have agreement, not disagreement. We want to have peace. And the Lebanon Lebanese president even said Iran is using Lebanon as a bargaining chip in their negotiations with the United States. It's unacceptable. Hezbollah must understand that to solve this problem, there is no other way but to sit and talk. Basically, we don't want to sit and talk. We want them to disarm. They don't want to disarm. Okay. And so basically, what happens is that one have to ask himself, what happened yesterday? Well, the Iranians, after they saw that the Lebanese government is talking to us and Hezbollah was kind of left out of this whole equation, Iran said, wait a minute, if Israel will attack in Beirut, once again, we will attack Israel. Excuse me, we have a problem with Hezbollah, not. Of course, we have a problem with you, but you guys sit quietly and talk with President Trump. We have a problem on our border. Well, guess what? Israel said during the ceasefire agreement that we will stay and attack only in southern Lebanon. But if Hezbollah will cross the border with rockets and drones into Israel and attack Israeli civilians, not soldiers, Israeli civilians in towns and villages, we'll strike Beirut. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. Everybody knew that Israel will strike Beirut if we will be attacked. And guess what? The Iranians told Hezbollah, shoot rockets towards northern Israel. We want, excuse me, we want to see what's going on. And sure enough, Israel struck the Dahye in Beirut. Now, we didn't kill anyone important, or we just made it clear. That's the new equation. You strike Israel, we strike Beirut. Well, Iran is now saying, well, of course, we have to fulfill our promise. We promised that we will strike Israel if Israel strike Beirut. So during the night yesterday, 4 waves of rockets kept me and my son in the bomb shelter for a few hours, and even this morning. Now at 4 a.m., 4:20 a.m., Israel responded with a flyover into Iran, and we destroyed quite a few things there. Everything is detailed on Telegram. One of the things that we destroyed is the petrochemical industry that is a main source of income for the regime, but we also eliminated every defense system that they restored and added after the war stopped. So we basically cleaned radars and all of the things that could stand on our way for future attacks are now gone, which means we sent a message. We're getting ready for another round if you play with us. And sure enough, Hezbollah, Lebanon, Iran started this exchange of fire. Israel decisively reacted, and this is the first time after the Israeli strike that the Iranians are not striking again, and they actually said, okay, that's it. But they said something very interesting. They said, that's it, but if Israel will strike southern Lebanon again, we are going, or Beirut, we will strike even more forcefully. Now you have to understand all of that. And I wake up in the morning to see what the Israeli ambassador basically wrote, and he said, Iran fired, and that's before there was a new wave of rockets this morning. He says, Iran fired 11 ballistic missiles at Israel today. He wrote it last night in America. Each one of those missiles can level an entire neighborhood and kill hundreds. He basically says, don't look at the outcome, look at the intention. Because nobody died, that doesn't mean that we need to overlook this. A lot of people could have been dead. And then he says, no self-respecting country in the world would tolerate such an attack, and neither will Israel. Israel is now targeting Iranian surface-to-surface missile launch sites, as well as infrastructure facilities related to the energy sector. The people of Lebanon, now watch this, the Israeli ambassador to the United States, who is also leading the delegation with the Lebanese. The talks with the Lebanese says the people of Lebanon have rejected Iran's proxy Hezbollah and have told Iran to get out of their country. If Hezbollah fires at Israel, once again, the equation, if Hezbollah fires at Israel, its command centers in the Dahye will be hit hard. This has nothing to do with Iran. Everyone has had enough of this maniacal Iranian regime. And just so you know, that's what the Israeli flyover early this morning looked like. We destroyed all of these defense systems that they have restored and placed since the end of the war. And again, we also struck the petrochemical industry as well. This is one of the videos of what we did during the night. There you go. A dismantling of an aerial defense system. There you go. Secondary explosion because they had rockets in those launchers. And so that one is gone. Meanwhile, we also struck other sites, and you can see the explosions in the streets of Tehran as well this morning. By the way, the Iranians were very happy to see that. And that's basically what we see. Now, if you're asking yourself, folks, if you're asking yourself, why did Iran strike now? How come before they were overlooking this and now? For months, Israel repeatedly struck the heart of Hezbollah's stronghold in Dahye, Beirut, with no Iranian response. Iran's sudden decision to respond now isn't about defending Lebanon. It's about exploiting Washington through two strategic goals. Take a look at this. Leverage to force better terms, major concessions, and critical sanctions relief at the negotiating table, and also drive a wedge between Netanyahu and Trump, drive a strategic wedge between the United States and Israel by manufacturing an escalation that the US desperately wants to avoid. I also want you to know that one of the things that the Iranian ambassador to Moscow wrote is this. Now watch this. In the middle of all of this, he said, the Strait of Hormuz will remain open, but under new conditions to be determined by Iran and Oman, including the imposition of transit fees for ships passing through. When he did that, I realized, okay, that's it. He basically exposed their real intention in this whole escalation. And the real intention in this whole escalation was basically to create better terms with America. Now, allow me to now speak about the United States. And I'm trying to stay calm. I'm trying to stay thankful, respectful. But at the same time, there are things that have to be said. Ever since Trump returned from China, and I have no clue what President Xi told him, what is it that he decided right there, but since he came back, Israel became a liability rather than an ally. Since then, it doesn't matter if Israel is being attacked from Lebanon or from Iran, he calls on all sides to stop, as if you can even compare Israel to Hezbollah or Israel to the IRGC. Since then, Iran already attacked in Saudi Arabia, in Kuwait, in Bahrain, and the UAE several times, and nothing happened. The US president is so determined to reach a deal that he basically completely buries his head in the sand, not seeing what's going on around him, not even understanding the way the Iranians negotiate. What we see, this escalation that was premeditated and manufactured by Iran, as I said, there was no reason for Iran to fire rockets at Israel. This is a business of Israel with Lebanon and Israel with Hezbollah. It's nothing to do with Iran. This whole escalation is so there will be an exchange of fire, that there will be a a danger of a prolonged war, that the price of oil will go back to over $99 a barrel, and then that will cause Trump anxiety. So he will, in his attempt to strike a deal, he will make more concessions, and he will agree to more of the Iranians. So now, let me show you how pathetic it is, because people need to understand this is the difference between the Iranians and the American positions. First of all, the Americans are saying, we're not paying you a dime to start talking. You're not getting any reparation, any money. The Americans are saying, we're not freezing your assets until we see results, until you start dismantling your nuclear program. America demands completely nuclear shutdown, give us all the enriched uranium, and dismantle all of your enrichment facilities. The Americans are not going to give them any guarantee. If you don't collaborate, we're going back to war. We're not going to give you a guarantee that we won't come back to war. And of course, regarding the Strait of Hormuz, what was is what should be, which is it's a free waterway for all. No one has the right to start charging tolls and have control over it. Well, the Iranians are saying exactly the opposite. We want war reparation. We want money. We want assets release. We want nuclear rights. They want to continue and have the possibility of enriching uranium. They don't want to give up their enriched uranium. They want a total ceasefire, even in Lebanon. They don't want Israel to fight our enemy. They tie Israel into this whole thing. And of course, they want to control, as you saw, they want to control the Strait of Hormuz and cash it. It's a milking cow. You can imagine the billions of dollars that they will make every year from controlling and charging a $1 million or $2 million per ship. So basically, if you really think about it, if there is a deal, and I have to make it very clear to all of you, the IRGC, the Shiite ideology, will never allow them to give up their rights to enrich uranium, will never allow them to appear as if they capitulated, will never allow them to even tolerate any Western civilization around them. That's why they want all the American troops out of the UAE, out of Bahrain, out of Kuwait, out of Qatar, out of everywhere. Now, just so you know, the Qataris, those snakes, and even the Saudis are paying hush money to Iran so it won't attack them. Because you have to understand something. Saudi Arabia is completely dependent on its energy sector. Not only that it needs the energy sector to make money, but it needs the energy to sustain itself. All of their cities will not be able to exist without water desalination and electricity that is provided through their energy plants. So if Iran strikes the energy plants of Saudi Arabia, not only that the Saudis are losing money, they can't even exist in many of those big cities. Riyadh, for example. So is with Qatar. So what happens now, the area is divided between determined countries that are not stooping down and they're fighting back, such as Israel and the UAE. The UAE is the only country that is not bowing down to the Iranian regime, and the other countries that are chickening. And the President Trump, with his hesitation and his lack of retaliation, lack of response to the attacks on Kuwait and Bahrain and others, he basically shows those countries that America, at some point, if it strikes a deal with Iran, will not help them anymore. And that's why the collaboration between Israel and the UAE is even bigger, greater now, because the UAE understands Israel is here to stay. America will not stay here. They'll leave. So we need to increase collaboration. And that's where we are right now. We're at the point where the President of the United States somehow is getting bad advices from his vice president and from Kushner and Witkoff. And I guess Rubio and Hegseth are in the backseat now. And he doesn't understand the language of the Middle East. He doesn't understand that he's being played. He has a lot of time pressure with the FIFA World Cup, with America's 250th anniversary, with his birthday, and of course with the midterms elections. He wants the oil prices to be down. He wants the Strait of Hormuz open. He wants the economy of the world to go back to normal. He wants all of that, and he will do whatever. And the Iranians can smell that. Now you have to understand, the blockade cost the Iranians $500 million a day. The blockade. So every day is pure gain. But he doesn't understand one thing. If you want the straits to open, if you want the deal to be signed, you have to hit them hard. You cannot show them that you are so eager that you will turn blind eye and even turn against your allies. Because the language he's been using with our prime minister in the last couple of weeks, and the way he's posting messages is so disrespectful for an ally that is fighting with you. But beyond that, it shows that Israel, from an ally, turned into liability in the Iran issue. Now, listen to me. I know the Iranians well. I know I know their ideology. There will never be a deal unless America will capitulate. That's it. So Israel is not the one that causes America not to have a deal. Trust me, it's not us. And trust me, it's not anybody around. It's their ideology. It's who they are. And the president, instead of intensifying pressure, not just by blockade, you have to understand the blockade also cost not just the Iranians, but cost the whole world, because the strait are still blocked. So either you go all in, open the Strait of Hormuz, and then force them to sign a deal, or you just strike them. But you cannot wait for them to change their mind. Because as far as I know, the IRGC, they don't care if the whole country is in flames. They will even strike their own people if they could, in order for them to survive, as long as America will not win and they will not lose. That's their ideology. And I'm not sure what happened to the president. He used to be different. He used to not just speak differently, but also act differently. It's embarrassing to see how people spit on him, and he calls it raindrops. It's embarrassing, because we love him, we care for him, we care for America. And America's image now is not good in the Middle East. Now you're probably going to say, "Yeah, Amir, you're so unthankful, you're so ungrateful." No, I'm not. I'm totally on the American side here. I'm just saying he's ill-advised. This is not how you speak to the Iranians. That's not. Now Israel, we know how to speak with these people. We continue to strike. We just struck in Lebanon just an hour ago. We will continue, because this is our enemy. They shoot rockets at us. They shoot drones, they launch drones at us. They kill our own people. We're not going to wait, pretend there's nothing, just because the Iranians are dragging their feet for an imaginary deal that will never be signed. And even if it's signed, do you really think they're going to fulfill their part? Do you really think? It's so embarrassing that you sit and talk to those liars. They'll tell you whatever you want to hear, and then when time comes, they'll never implement it. It will never. It's a never-ending story, and we were on the verge of paralyzing them completely. And then came this stupid ceasefire on April 7th, and since then, it's empowered them completely. Now, Israel cleaned a little bit early this morning, their defense systems, radar systems, and stuff like that, because we know we're going to have to go back there. We know we're going to. By the way, America did not help us over the past 24 hours. We did everything by ourselves, the interception as well as the strikes. Interception of rockets towards us. And by the way, we've learned a lot from the recent war. We have tweaked and and worked and improved our systems. We've debriefed every single event where a problem happened, and we fixed all the bugs. We fixed all the issues. I mean, we literally 20 something rockets from Iran, and nothing happened. Nothing. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if you don't want to do it, let us do it, but don't treat us like a mosquito, like a liability, or like some we're bothering you. No, we're your allies, we're your friends, and you will never have peace with the Iranians unless you are in a position to, with your boot, stomp on their head. I'm talking about the IRGC. Now, over the last few days, I see a lot of, because now internet is back in Iran, and over the last few days, Iranians are posting photos and videos, and they're staying anonymous, but they're showing little signs that they write, arm us. They're begging, arm us, give us weapons. We know what to do, arm us. Now, I'll spare from you this fiasco that happened right at the beginning of the war, when the US vice president leaked to the Turkish president that the plan is to arm the Kurds so the Kurds will invade from the south and destabilize the regime and give weapon to the people. Erdogan immediately called the president and got him off this idea, and that's why we are where we are right now. Now, I don't get me wrong. I know Bible prophecy, and I definitely know that Iran will come against Israel in the future. I understand that, but that doesn't mean that we need to sit and allow them to do what they want right now. We need to always do the right thing. We need to always fight the good fight. We need to always strike if needed, and we should never capitulate to this evil, satanic, diabolic regime. So, and the most shocking thing is to hear that Israel needs to stop and Iran needs to stop. Israel needs to stop and Hezbollah must. We're being put together as if it's the same. And then the president a few days ago said, if I wasn't there, if it was not for me, Israel wouldn't exist. Now, if there's these type of things, when you say that, I don't envy you. These are the type of things that are not good for any world leader to say if he is God-fearing. So I'm not sure what we're watching, but we are watching the beginning of a silent separation between the two countries. And it's very strange, very sad, but I guess predictable. You know, as a Bible teacher, I know that nobody's going to come and stand and help Israel in the coming war, the next war. So what's going on? It seems like we are watching already that separation. Very interesting. So I want to just explain to you how Lebanon is being used by Iran as a way to gain leverage in this negotiations with America, and as a way to drive a wedge between Israel and America. And the poor Lebanese, they don't want to play that part. They most of I just posted on Telegram, and by the way, a lot of you, I don't know if you understand how important it is to follow us on Telegram. And that QR code that you see on top of the screen, this is the way, guys, this is the only way you can get news. I'm telling you, A lot of people are leaving Telegram because they have hard time. They don't understand how to deal with that. We're going to address that and help you. But I want to tell you something. This is where you get unfiltered news. But I just posted um, uh, a message that and here it is. That's the post. This is a paper, okay, that the Lebanese Christians left for the IDF, and they left that in their house. And while Israel demolishes the near border Lebanese Shiite villages used by Hezbollah as their front outpost, the Christian villages are left untouched. And look what they said. Hello, dear. The Christian Lebanese. By the way, their F-16 is flying right now. About hello, dear. We are Christian, and we love you, and we thank you for empty Lebanon from the yellow, from Hezbollah. Please keep our house because no one helped us to renew renewed. We have children and no money, and now we need to leave safe. Please let us back. Thank you. Basically, they're saying, guys, we had to leave because there's war, but please don't destroy our house. We love you. We're Christians. We thank you for cleaning this area from Hezbollah. Hezbollah is exploiting us also. Please don't. We don't have money to have to rebuild a house. And by the way, those Lebanese Christian villages are untouched. We leave their houses. They were not used by Hezbollah, and they're not sympathizers of Hezbollah. And why would we touch it? But they love us, and they thank us. And that's not just the Lebanese community, the Christian community, but that's also the Druze, and that's also the Sunni Muslim community. They all understand that Lebanon's disaster is the Shiites and Hezbollah. I've never seen so many pro-Israel and pro-peace with Israel voices as I see right now. So first of all, I want you to pray for the Lebanese people. They're being caught there in this crossfire, and they're being exploited. And also pray for us that we will stand our ground and not capitulate. And even if it's a friend like President Trump, when it comes to say, no, sorry, but we need to do it, we will do it. I'm sure that President Trump prefers that we do not strike in Beirut and prefers that we will not strike in Iran. But hey, we warned them, don't shoot at us. And they did. What do you expect us to do? Sit and act if nothing happened? Just because nobody got hurt? Because we have great defense systems? We need to stop doing that. Those huge ballistic missiles can wipe out a whole neighborhood. The reason why they don't is just because we invested billions and we worked so hard to get defense systems, which, by the way, we sell to the whole world, because we care about our people. We don't build underground tunnels for terrorists. We build shelters for our people, and we build defense systems. And so the president cannot say, oh, nobody got hurt, so let's finish with it. No. 20 ballistic missiles could wipe out a whole city in Israel. Well, let's ask, what if 20 ballistic missiles would have been launched from Mexico towards America? Would America do nothing just because nobody got hurt? Of course not. No country in the world is expected from us, is expected to do what we are being expected to do, which is nothing. So those pre-October 7th days are over. We are different people. We don't close our eyes to rising danger, emerging danger. We don't close our eyes to the enemy. We take our enemy seriously. And when they shoot at us, we go in and we take care of business. That's it. And I think every country should do that. If terrorists knew that there would be such an opposition, they would think twice before they do things. So pray for the president to open his eyes, to get good advice, also spiritual advice. Don't talk like that. Don't talk as if you're God. Don't put yourself above God. don't say that without you Israel wouldn't exist, when you know that he that keepeth Israel neither slumbers nor sleep, that the God of Israel is the reason why Israel exists. It's not Netanyahu, it's not the IDF, it's certainly not Trump or the military of the US. It's the Lord God of Israel. Don't do that. So he needs spiritual advice, he needs a good political advice, and he needs to listen to Marco Rubio more than he listens to JD Vance and his businessmen around him. This is not business. A deal. I want a deal. Well, what deal do you want? That they say we will not develop nuclear weapon, and then you know they will. That they say we will never purchase nuclear weapon, but you know they will. What? How do you think their word can even mean anything when their ideology tells them to do that? And that's it. So pray for President Trump. Pray for the Prime Minister of Israel that has to deal with both our enemies and friends that are turning on us. Also pray for the Lebanese people. And pray for the brave Iranian people that are asking, arm us, give us something. We know what to do. So many good people suffer and the bad people get, it reminds me, every Shabbat, the Jewish people are reading in every synagogue, they're reading Psalm 92, which is the only psalm that was written for the Sabbath day. I don't know if you know that. A psalm is sung for the Sabbath day. And it says this: Lord, how great are your works. Your thoughts are very deep. A senseless man does not know, nor does a fool understand. When the wicked springs up like grass, and when all the workers of iniquity flourish, it is that they may be destroyed forever. So sometimes in the temporary, we see the wicked spring up and the workers of iniquity flourish. But in the eternal perspective, they will be destroyed. So sometimes we're very frustrated when the bad guys are having their way and the good guys are suffering. But I want to remind you that there is a God and he will judge, and the wicked ones are destroyed forever. And the eternal is far more important than the temporary one. So pray, and I'll keep you posted as much as I can with more. But I want to encourage you to pray for President Trump to open his eyes. Pray for Netanyahu. Pray for the people of Lebanon, the people of Iran. And pray that evil will always be defeated. And at least pray that the good guys will always take a bold stand against the evil ones. That's it. That's it. Don't let somebody exploit you and just to use others as leverage. And don't turn on your friends and your allies. It's very important. Good. Please share this video with as many as you can. Thank you. And by the way, we started today the promotion for my book, The Elijah Mandate. Guys, it will bless you so much. And if you have unbelieving friends and family members, please get it for them. You'll see why when you read it. You'll cry. The Elijah Mandate book.com is where you can get a hold of it, either on Amazon or Christian Book. Again, the Elijah Mandate book.com. One word, the Elijah Mandate book.com. And let's make it a bestseller. By the way, Hobby Lobby will also have it in all of their brick and mortar stores. Let's get it. Let's pre-order it and let's get it out there to all people around. It's a two cups of coffee, and you get to do a good thing for yourself and for your family and for people around you. Also, thank you for those who prayed about donating to Behold Israel. We need it. We have a lot of expenses with Connect and traveling around the world. We thank you for responding. Go to beholdisrael.org and find ways if you want to continue and help us. Thank you. God bless you. And shalom from Galilee, from Israel. Bye-bye.